Will you claim ancient power? Are you ready?
Hello and welcome to my first Mythgard live. In this video I will be looking at a divination koi list that I myself made. And it's kind of gimmicky, but it's a fun gimmick. And it has some decent late game. But the late game is quite flexible. Just whatever you have really, but the main strength is sort of your early to mid game combos. So let's have a look at the list. As you can probably tell by the name Div Koi, it's a divination heavy koi list. So starting with, and it's an orange purple, so starting with 3 conviction and 3 eager recruit. Now I have conviction pretty much for cheaper things just to contest the early board states in case they play some decent stats. I can play conviction on my eager recruit or my passive recruit, help clear the board and not fall behind. Same with Dark Passenger, because we have these eager recruits, we also, as you can see, have sniffers. You know, playing this on a very cheap unit just to clear a big threat that they are contesting the board with it holds true in the early game and in the late game, just in case, you know, we're not drawing too well. And having the number of these early drops, having so many of them, just makes early game very consistent. So I had Lamp of Wonders. It's not too fantastic, and I know it's mythic, you don't really need it. It's just another divination tool in case like you're in a pinch and you need divination. And it's Div 4, which is quite nice. If it's 0 energy, draw a card, then banish this. I never really let it get to 0 energy, I just sort of keep it at 1. Very rarely would I let it get to 0 and give my opponent a copy, just in case. So 2 Xerxian Recruiter. This works very well with Div as well. If you Div, you stack your deck, and you know you can put a minion on the top, provided that you saw one. Maybe you only see lots of spells, but more often than not, you'll be able to stack your deck with what you want to draw into, and then play Recruiter to get it. 70 Eye Threat, same thing. As you say, it's a divination heavy deck. This is Div 3. It's pretty decent. A lot of the other effects are just Div 2, but this is Div 3. It's risky though. You don't want to have it stick on the board for too long. So you will just want to, you know, aggressively contest the board with this. Don't be afraid to put it across from their units, because you don't want your opponent to be able to exploit this and chip you down on your life. But it's pretty good stats as well for a 3 mana 4/4, so that's always nice as well. We have Perry at the gates. Now, understated, very much so, but if you have a divination effect before you play Perry, you pretty much get to draw 2 cards from your deck that are of your choosing, and that's very strong in my opinion. You Div, and so you know what the draw card is going to be, and then you Div again, Div 2, and then draw another card. So that's sort of draw 2, but better because you have some decisions on what you actually draw into. So I think it's incredibly strong in this deck, and just in general, despite its weak stats. So we're running Double Seal just as a little bit of removal. Mainly we'll be wanting to sort of flood the board and contest the board and control it through our units, but well, just in case we can't do that in some situations, there's something too big, we want to be able to have that seal. So, and it's quite costly, but then again, it's actually very good against Reanimator, I noticed. If they have their 3 mana 2/3, that's sort of the core piece of their deck to get their creatures back, you can use seal on that, even though it's like using 4 mana removal on a 3 or 2 or whatever it is. It gets rid of that and all copies from their deck, and it doesn't proc its effect. So I really like seal on that, just from what I've noticed. But it's obviously not good against warded, so you want to have some other options like Passenger for warded creatures. Next we have 3 Marty. I think Marty is a very good card. It's very good at clearing things. Obviously, it's only 2 damage, but sometimes it makes all the difference. You know, maybe it's just a 2 and then we throw a unit in to clear something, and that still just keeps you ahead on board and clears their board. That's kind of what this deck is about. And if occupying a desert enchantment, deal 3 to anyone. Do we have generation? I don't think we do. But what you could do, if you wanted to put synergy in, and I think in an earlier version of the deck, I was running Dune Cats. You could run Dune Cats just for that desert enchantment generation. But I think I preferred Eager Recruit and Sniffer, and having even more ones just made it a little bit too imbalanced on the curve. I think that's why I decided not to go with more ones. But you definitely could. Maybe if you prefer the enchantments, you could take out Recruiter or Recruit. But I think Recruit is just too good not to put in. And then just for the late game, we have a Faceless Construct. This will be changing as I build my collection. As you can tell, it's quite budget. But this will be changing as I build my collection. Once I get more late game, I'll definitely be putting it in and substituting. But I noticed that a lot of the late game cards are mythic just by nature. Like, it's kind of difficult. Like, let's just go and confirm my suspicions. Just like the late game. This is an 8 drop, it's a mythic. It's a 7, it's a mythic. It's a 6, it's a mythic. 6 mythic, 6, and then this. You know, this was the most expensive and cheapest unit that I have access to. And really, that's in the game for orange. So that's why I went with that. And there's some other, 5s that you could put in, but I didn't have those either. So just the one Faceless Construct. Now onto purple. We have 3 Sniffer, 4 Sword Saint. Sniffer, fairly self-explanatory, I would think. It's Breach, give yourself a Divine Compass. It's a 0 mana div. So 0 mana div effect combos very well with Baguda. We don't need any setup. It's a 0 mana, so we can just play it on 2 along with Baguda. As well as some other things. I keep clicking, but it's fine. And some other things, as you can see, the Koi, obviously. Sword Saint's just another, we needed a 2, so I decided to put in some more 2s in the purple. And Sword Saint is quite nice, gives yourself some item. Gives you some healing, potentially, just in case. Sometimes you need the Biting Blade to stop yourself from dying. And that little 1 attack can also help you clear things on board. 2 Mutton Morph. Sometimes this is good. We don't always want to sacrifice our resources with a seal, but this is limited in, obviously, you can only have it on a mana cost of 5 or less. So it still doesn't take out some of the really big things. So this is more of a mid-game card, not necessarily late game. This is good in the late game, and this can be good in the early or late game. But this is more of a mid-game removal tool, I would say. 3 Koi, I think it's what the deck is all about. It's fairly mandatory. It's why we're stacking our deck with Divination, so we can draw a +2/+2 onto a unit, and I think that's very strong. And then, the late game again. If you have better purple late game, don't make your late game so one of janky, I'm just running some good statted, some really good effects as well. Onto my late game. 2 pushy Oni. Maybe they're stacking one side quite heavily and I have some board presence on the other side, so I can get out my 6/5 and I can push them over to remove it. Terragon with the Adamantite Pearl. Again, the over one is obviously good, but it's mainly you get that +1/+1. That can help you contest the board. And it's 5 mana 5/6, pretty good stats. This actually has quite a decent effect. You and an opponent discard a card. That's often not a problem. Maybe if you've held onto a Parser Recruit during the game, you can just discard that, since it's going to be not too good in the late game. And sometimes you just don't have a chance to play it. So that's a free discard for you. And it forces your opponent to discard if they still have resources. And the suppression is very, very good, I've noticed. And the Immolation Cloak, it's actually a little bit of AoE. If I get more Lantern Colossus, I'll probably put it in. but every now and then that Immolation Cloak can help you clear board if you're falling behind. So, you know, there's a lot of just sort of one-offs, but if you think it's going to be useful in the matchup early, maybe you keep it. If not, obviously burn it. But if it's that powerful that you know you're going to need it in the match, you just sort of hold on to it. And to some extent, it wouldn't really matter which of these you play, so long as you have one of them buy 5 or 6 mana to just to play and contest board, you know what I mean? It's more just, I have a 6 cost minion at 6 mana, and however that manifests, you know, doesn't really matter too much. So that's the deck. As I said, it's very cheap. Journey of Souls, just because I think it's one of the best paths to pick, and Foresight obviously combos as a divination effect. So that's enough about the list and about me rambling. Let's get into some games. Hello there, welcome to the gameplay. You see what I did there? I do have a camera. So, very fast queues I've noticed in this game, it's quite nice. This is our starting hand, first game. Let's go and say we're probably gonna go into a purple direction in the early game. So we don't have our first turn play, but that's fine. We'll need to burn 2 purples to be able to play our Sword Saint on our second turn. Pushy Oni is something that can probably go quite confidently, and so hopefully next turn we don't have to burn the other Sword Saint to play Sword Saint. Maybe we get another purple. So I think we burn Pushy Oni here, so that we can play the Sword Saint next turn. And let's hope that our first game isn't a loss. I mean, that would be unfortunate. We're gonna wait for my opponent here. Decides to burn a blue. So, things to look at with blue. Obviously, he's gonna have the Road Queen. He's gonna have this sidecar. He could have Lightning, and he could have Thunderclap. And both of those are fairly likely. So again, we're drawing more of our Marties. It's kind of unfortunate, but we have the Sword Saint to contest. And I probably will contest here, because I think the 4/4 can... well, he could potentially play like a Valkyrie Tough next turn, or a Thane, and the Eye Threat can contest them both fairly well. So I think I'm gonna want to keep the Mutton Morph. We only need to burn 1 orange to play Eye Threat, so I think I'm gonna burn the Sword Saint to play Sword Saint. And he's not wanting Impel, which is nice, and the Biting Blade can kind of be useful considering he's running Smite. He's clearly going to be a very aggressive deck. So what could he play on 2? I'm expecting a Tough or a Thane here. What else could you play? 2 more Scouts? Oh, he can coin out Sidecar if he really wanted, and that would be kind of rough. He spikes. That's fine. He didn't develop, and that's quite nice for me. Is Dark Passenger going to be too slow? Is going to be my question. Is it going to be too slow? Because it could very well be likely it is going to clear my board every turn. But I like to keep double Marty. Because it's going to help me chip down things like this. I don't think I'm going to have the time to play this. So let's play Eye Threat. And I know it's risky, but again, it's there. It's in the thick of things. We get a Divination 3. So I'm just going to want some early board presence. Against a deck like this, I'm not going to want to fall too far behind on board. I'm going to be able to, at the very least, block. You know what I mean? He's hanging on to that coin, so we can play a 4. But there's no way he just thunderstorms here. Or what is it? Thunderclap. Lightning? Oh, he is gonna go to 4. The wolf is fine. I haven't got a problem with that. This doesn't have agile, so... So I plan... Well, I just chase it, dude. You're not getting away from this. Okay. Here's what we'll do. I think we'll play our recruit. Well... Yeah. I don't think I'm going to want recruiter. I think what I'm going to do is contest over here with our eager recruit. Play the passer over here, just so he can't swift over here and attack us. And then Marty this next turn. Hopefully he takes the trade. If I get thunderstormed, it'll be unfortunate. Do I burn Recruiter? I think I'm going to burn Recruiter. And this will let me div. Let's pick up Conviction. I'm hanging onto this Biting Blade. So, just Thunderstorm. It would kind of be very unfortunate. But it deals 2 damage to everything, so the effect will kind of be very similar, wouldn't it? He would also take damage. I'd still be able to finish it with Marty. Road Queen will let him value trade here, but that'll be fine. Chosen. That's fine. If he doesn't make this trade, it'd be a mistake. Because he's giving me a chance to remove this for no reason. But no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play Marty this turn. I think it was fine to just pick up the orange, to burn the orange. Or just to have something easy to pick and burn away. So ping that off. +1/+1. Yeah, I'm okay with it. We're not doing too badly. We're playing around a lightning. A thunderstorm is fairly low impact. At 5. That is just in range? No, mana cost 5. It's just in range. It's just in range. That's so good for us. Glad we held on to it. Because I was kind of considering using the mutton on this. But, like, Marty had to be the play, right? It had to be. And we also get eager. 3-1-1. But I'm really playing into a thunderstorm. I don't think I want to play into thunderstorm, honestly. Let's just clear his board. And Divination. Sniffer. It's fairly low impact. I think I'm just gonna want the stats. Like at this stage, like he could play something very big. Sniffer's just not, it's just not good enough right now. Does he have another one? So, I'm not gonna let the breach trigger. That's obvious. I can now Biting Blade and keep myself nice and healthy. So Biting Blade leaves me with 4 mana. I want to be a little bit reserved, right? Because of Thunderstorm. I think this, at this point in the game, I just don't really want it. And that'll let me div. Let's actively contest this, because I don't want him to get his cards back. Perry's quite nice, but so's Koi. Ooh, Perry vs Koi. This is gonna be nice card advantage. And just accentuate my advantage. We've got to show off the Koi players though, don't we? So, he needs to answer this. Or there's no way he's gonna... Like, he's already behind. And when you're behind, you're kind of like, okay, I'm down on board, but I'm ahead on life. But now thanks to this... Immobile? Immobile is fine. Because I'll be able to, Marty to finish this off. It's fine. Do I burn Sword Saint? Not necessarily. I don't really need to burn much at this point. I think we're fine. And I still gain the health. The problem is we don't really have much more burst, I guess you'd say. Because we can get a Biting Blade and get 1 more attack. But if he plays something that with 2 bigger stats, is what I'm thinking of, that'll be a problem. We kind of need to draw more of a late game. Have we had much of it? We've had our Martys, but that's not really a late game threat. He's kind of going a bit all in here, which is interesting. Because we just get 2 free clears here. It's not too big of a deal. Does this have armor? No. I mean, it's just clear his board, like, we're good. Like, to be honest, I'm not too beaten up about taking those kinds of trades. Let's div. And let's get a buffed construct. And again, we're good, because we can... Well, we have the Dark Passenger on this. We can Sword Saint over here, Passenger. Although I wouldn't want to do it preemptively. But we have a big 6 mana card coming down very soon. Easily enough to contest this. It'll trade, which is fun. And so recruit with Passenger, not too bad at this stage. We're still good. No, we're not. No, we are not. Does it regen? It goes to full health. Oh my god, that was a good pull. Ugh, that's no good. That is no good. Alright, so Dark Passenger is going to be necessary here. He's only got 1 card. He's stacking this side, which is smart. Preemptively giving it the frenzy. Like I'm not going to have anything to contest. He swings. He should know how his own card works. Yeah. Damn, that is strong. I rip a seal. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so bad for him. That is so bad for him. Do I burn? Nah. So I might want that. I might want the biting blade. It's all about the biting blade. So I seal here. I think I'm gonna play Bakut. Unless it's watered. Oh, is it watered? No, it's not watered. So this is getting in for 3 damage over here while this is happening. Yeah. Clears. All good. We're pretty good right here. It's fine that we didn't get much there. We can div to give ourselves a good drop. Yeah. We're gonna be joining the bogeyman. Do I want conviction then? Because I'm gonna need to burn something. Let's not have conviction. Just contest this side, and we're gonna win this game. Let's give ourselves the health. Oh, does that have overrun? It does. I've got to discard the passenger. That sucks. I mean, eventually he's gonna run out of good top decks, right? If he just keeps ripping into great cards, like, that's just whatever. It's been a really long game, hasn't it? Oh boy, this has been a long one. Jeez. This might be a 1-game video. I don't know, maybe games are normally this long. Come on, you've got 1 card, dude. Play it or don't play it, like... Can't be too difficult. Oh, this has regen 1. That's gonna be awkward to deal with. Didn't kill this. Yeah, let's do this combo. So let's... Well, no, that's just a draw, isn't it? Because I can burn and then kill it. Who cares? I'm just gonna burn it to play the conviction and just clear his board. Oh, I'm gonna get thunderstormed. Or clapped. Thundered. I'm gonna get thundered. Lightning over there. What? You have to play lightning here. Deal 2 damage. Even I know that, and I'm a new player. Come on. This is tense. Oh, he misplayed. Oh, he misplayed. Oh, well played. Oh, what a great game. Jeez. Alright guys, dude. Because that went on for like 20 minutes or something ridiculous. I mean, I wanted to share more games, but like, that was such a long game, I don't want to bore you guys, but, you know, hopefully, I feel like I effectively showed off what that list was about. You know, divinations with Perry, divinations with Koi. We didn't get a sniffer, but again, that's just 0 mana Divine Compass, combo with Koi, you can combo it with Perry. You can stack big things like what I did with the Faceless Construct, that became a 9/9. Didn't end up mattering in that situation because of the Drago or whatever it was, but you can see how it would be powerful. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next live. Take it easy.